Good morning, everyone. We are live. Listen, we were off for the entire summer, and today we're going to be talking about the future of finance. AI eliminates debt and builds wealth. I can't wait to get into what we're going to be talking about today and the future of P.I.L.L method and the ultimate debt elimination challenge. The ultimate debt elimination challenge is coming, and we want you to be able to get everything we're talking about today. So let's go ahead and get started right now. All right. Listen, we're getting ready to get started here. We're going to be putting some things right on the screen so that you will be able to check out everything that we're talking about. So if there's a link, if you're here in Clubhouse, there's a link at the top of the page. You can take that link and go to YouTube so you can see everything that we're talking about today. All right. So let's go ahead and get started in understanding what AI can do for you. We're going to jump right in. So I'm going to add this to the stage right now. So listen, all right. Here is a particular individual who has $188,926.35 left on their mortgage, $73,000 in credit card debt. Now, what we have been told in the past is that all you have to do is pay more. But in this year, we're going to get deeper into what AI can do to ultimately kill as much interest as mathematically possible for you. Oh my gosh. Listen, when you take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen, with $262,000 in debt, listen to how much interest the bank wants them to pay on this debt. $349,990. That is ridiculous. $349,990 in interest on $262,000 worth of debt. How in the world can people continue to do this and not know what the bank is doing to them? I'm telling you, it is more difficult to get rid of debt than you think, because what we're taught to do is kill debt or pay more, do biweekly payments, do the debt snowball, do the avalanche method. But it doesn't, those methods don't pay attention to how much interest you're paying. The way to get rid of debt, ladies and gentlemen, is make sure you pay the least amount of interest that's mathematically possible. Now, let's take a look at what this person was able to do. Instead of paying $349,000, here's what AI can do for you. Okay? Only pay $97,000 in interest with your current budget, without making more money, without sacrificing lifestyle. You can live well and do this and cut your interest costs by 72% here. That's a $252,000 savings, and paying off all of the debt, including the 30-year mortgage, in 7.7 years instead of 29.8. Oh my goodness. What are we doing here? Listen, AI can actually AI can actually do more for you than you believe. It is phenomenal what it can do. And I'm going to be listen, I'm having trouble getting the stream up on LinkedIn. All right. So let's see. We won't be able to get it up on LinkedIn today, it looks like. All right. There we go. All right. We'll save the changes. Okay. So we are on YouTube. We're on Clubhouse. We're on, let's see, Facebook. And I guess that's it. Okay. Listen. So let's go ahead and get started today. All right. Let me bring up, share another one of these for you. Bring up my entire screen here. There we go. All right. So we're going to bring this up, add that to the stage. Now take a look at this one. All right. Take a look at this one. This one is crazy. This one is crazy. $634,000 mortgage, two mortgages, $634,000. Other loans add up to $197,000. And this one is $201,000 in credit card debt for a total of $1,033,153 in debt. Guess how much interest the bank wants them to pay? $692,000. Oh, $692,000. And with AI working with you, you can pay off all of this debt in with only paying $179,954. You see, the way to focus on debt, ladies and gentlemen, is look at the interest cost on the debt, not the interest rate, but how much does the interest cost? What is the bank looking for? What are they looking for? How much interest are they looking for? And if we get fooled into thinking that we have to pay all of that, we will be in debt forever. So all you have to do is pay $179,954. So it is not paying more, it is not making more money that gets you out of debt. It is paying less interest that does it. We're going to talk about that today. So with paying $179,000 in interest, or let's call it $180,000, that means they're going to save over $500,000 in interest. Look at this, over $500,000, $512,332, and that is the minimum they're going to save. They'll probably save more. Okay, paying off. The bank would love it if they would take 36 years to pay off all of this debt, paying minimum payments. But with the P.I.L.L method using AI, they could be done in 9 years. Listen, folks, we're going to be announcing the ultimate challenge coming up, the ultimate debt elimination challenge. We've been working on it all summer. It's going to be a 5-day challenge, 5 days. Okay. And in those 5 days, you are going to learn so much about the history of lending. You're going to learn about how lending actually works. You're going to be learning about how difficult banks have made it to pay off debt, even though you're doing the best you know how and the best that you've been taught. But what you have been taught actually increases the amount of interest you will pay on that debt, which keeps you in debt longer, because we're focusing on the principal. We're focusing on what we have borrowed. In this case, focusing on the $1,033,000 and how to get rid of the $1,033,000 instead of focusing on the real problem, how to get rid of the $692,000 worth of interest. If you stop to think about it, doesn't that make more sense? Listen, folks, in season 5, we're going to get way down deep into understanding this and paying off this debt in 9 years. Look at look, we just listen. We're going to show you how we did this just on one page. Okay, here is a young person who had $237,000 worth of debt. They're supposed to pay $161,000 in interest on it and take 28.8 years to pay it off. They're only going to pay 70,000 and be done in 10.3 years. Okay, they're going to take the amount of interest they're no longer paying and turn it into generational wealth. Over $611,000 worth of income into their nest egg. They can grow their net worth by $611,000 in in just a few years by investing the money they are no longer paying to the bank in interest. And this is a 1% return on their money. What? Yeah. 1% return on the money, not 10%, not 15%, not 20%. This right here, this $611,000, okay, based on the interest savings of $98,000, invested correctly, can turn into $611,000 in the span of time it was going to take them to pay off the mortgage. Man, oh man. How would you like to take the money that you were supposed to pay to the bank and grow your family's net worth with it? There's a lot going on here that we don't understand. We're going to get into the history. We're going to get into how this all happened, why it's still happening, and why there is no education on this subject. Okay? Here's another one. 390,000 with a mortgage, 7,000 in other loans, and $18,000 in credit card debt. People are drowning in credit card debt. But they're drowning in it because they have not been taught to swim. The P.I.L.L method will teach you how to swim, okay? And navigate this debt. When in our office, when we see all of this debt, several credit cards, over $100,000 in credit card debt, we don't care. We actually like to see that because we know what it means. If you can pay your bills, if you can just make the minimum payments out of your income, then you have the wherewithal to eliminate all of your debt in an average of 7 to 9 years. I'm going to be putting some other information on the screen, but let's go ahead and pull up the opportunity cost calculator. Okay. We're going to put that on the screen for you guys. And we're loading it in right now. All right. Opportunity cost calculator. And we're going to go over some of how AI can help you. All right. All right. So let's pull that up. So in the meantime, towards the middle and the end of this month, we are going to be putting the final touches on the ultimate debt elimination challenge. It's going to go over 5 days. It is the first time anything like this has been done in history to teach you the nitty gritty about what is happening with debt, not just in America, but around the world. What's happening with that? Why haven't we been taught? What is going on behind the scenes that keeps people in debt forever? 9 out of 10 people you know will never pay off a mortgage. So let me go ahead and reset this. All right. And let me see here. We're going to reset the account, and there we go. I don't want that. I don't want that one. Let's do this one. There we are. Okay. So let's bring this over. All right. Take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at this. All right. Let's get into how you load everything into. Let me pull up. Let me pull this one up instead. There we go. We can see it a little better if we use that one. That view. All right. Let's take a look at how this all breaks down in the AI system so that AI can guide you like financial GPS to get out of debt and why it is necessary. So let's go ahead and take a look at the accounts. We're going to see what we're working with. Okay. This particular family has $2,500 in their checking. They've happened to be able to amass $10,000 in their savings account. They have a car loan that they're just about to pay off, $4,800. They have a Discover card that has $8,000 on it, and it's at 18%. All right. Hi, Opal. I see you here in Clubhouse. If you want to see what we're doing, then pull up on a secondary device. You can pull up YouTube. The link is at the top of the page. Okay. You can watch everything that we're doing on YouTube. So we're going over how AI helps us to eliminate debt today. All right. So they have a truck loan. No, I skipped right over the student loan, $30,000 in student loan debt. Do you know there are people right now that are retirement age that still have student loan debt? The way that it is structured makes it almost impossible for regular people to get rid of student loans. We're going to show you how to get rid of everything in just a few years, including student loans. Okay. Truck loan. They have $15,000 on the truck. They've got a motorcycle. They owe $6,000 on that. And finally, the mortgage at $305,000. Folks, that is let me see here. Total liabilities, $368,000 that they owe. Now, let's take a look at how much income we have put into the opportunity cost calculator. Okay, this is how much income we put in here. We're going to go to the budget, and Rebecca gets paid bi-weekly $1,750, and John gets paid bi-weekly $2,100 for an average income. They have an average income of $8,341.67. So they're not rich. By the time they pay off all of their bills every month, on average, they have about $1,300 left over. That's if they just pay the minimums on everything. You pay the minimums on everything, they will have about $1,300 left over. So, Don, how in the world can they get rid of so much debt? Let me put this on the screen here. Okay. Let me put it up this way. All right. So principal remaining. This is how much principal they have remaining. $368,800. Now, with understanding how optimized interest cancellation works, let me put it like this. Everybody knows that if you put extra money on the debt over and above your minimum payment, you will eliminate interest and you'll eliminate time from your loan. But what we don't know is how much interest even $1 can eliminate. because we're so focused on trying to throw as much money at the debt as we can. If we only have a small amount of money, we think there's not much we can do. But if you knew that paying $1 extra on your debt could eliminate about $6 in interest, would that be valuable to you? But listen, ladies and gentlemen, what if you did it in a way that when you paid your $1, you only saved $3 in interest instead of 6? You would want to know, how do I save 6 instead of 3? But guess what? If you don't have a way to measure, you don't know how much interest you're saving. You have never received a receipt from your bank, from your credit union, from your car loan. You've never received a receipt that says, thank you for the extra payment. Here's how much interest you saved. Because if you knew how much interest could be eliminated with just a small amount of money, you are now finding out the keys to the kingdom. Eliminating large amounts of interest with leverage, meaning what is the smallest amount of money that I can put on the debt that I have available to kill the maximum amount of interest? Leverage works like this. I need to put in the smallest amount of effort that's going to get me the greatest returns. Isn't that how you invest? You don't want to invest $10,000 to make $10,000. You want to invest $1,000 to make $10,000. You want to get a greater return for putting in a smaller amount of money. And that's how loans are constructed to work. But we have never been told that. Oh, I'm so glad that we're back going live. Listen, we've been working on this thing for a good long time. So listen, I need you to watch this. All right. So we got $368,000 in debt. But look at this. They have a potential interest savings of $142,725 even before they start this program. What? We already know the AI has figured out that they can save $142,725 in interest. If you are watching us on YouTube and you want to ask a question, put it in the chat, put it in the comments, okay? Put it in the comments section if you want to talk to me about, you want to ask a question, you want to make a comment. And if you're here, if you're listening to us on Clubhouse, you can do the same. Put your question in. Now, let's look at how much interest they will actually pay. So this thing breaks it all the way down. Okay. The interest saved, okay. Principal remaining, years to pay off. Let's take a look at that. Years to pay off, 7.4 years. 7.4 years. They're going to pay this off instead of 30. Okay. Now, let's take a look at how we put information into the opportunity cost calculator, into the AI system. Okay. The AI system says, follow my directions, and this is what can happen. So the program knows when John gets paid. So when John gets paid, all he has to do is tell the program that he got paid. He just clicks that. I got paid my $2,100. It's in the bank. So I'm telling the program I just got paid. Okay. There we go. Just a few clicks and it disappears from the screen. Now, where did it go? There is a virtual checking account in the program that matches what they have at the bank. So when they get paid, they just tell the program, I got paid. And so there is a mirror of their bank accounts in the program. So the program can tell them what to do next. So the next thing is the program tells them, how much money to put in savings. It's already done the math for the entire month. Look at this. Already done the math for the entire month and says, okay, we're going to put $4,000 into the savings account out of your checking account because you don't need any of that money to pay any of the rest of your bills. And by putting that money in savings, then the program says, now, out of the money that you have, we're going to take $6,600 out of your savings, not out of your regular budget, because you need to pay bills with your regular budget. But after saving up some money in your savings account, the program says, take $6,600 of that and apply it to your Discover card. And when doing that, I need you to focus here. Focus right here. $9,951 in interest saved. You see, if you pay off this $6,600 in interest and principal, how much they owe, if you pay it all off in the way that the bank wants you to pay it off, in just minimum payments, Discover would love that. That would mean you also would have to pay Discover $9,951 in interest. Who wants to do that? Nobody. How would you like to borrow money at a discount? By following the directions of a program that is designed to measure all of your debt, all of your income, all of your other bills, and say, take this much money and no more. I mean, right down to the penny. Take this much money and no more and put it on your debt. Okay? So now, once we take that money and put it put it on the debt, this is what the program does. We're looking at taking in income, making the regular mortgage payment here of $1,722.38. Here is another $2,100 in income, and then the program starts to save up all over again. We're going to put $698.04 into the savings account. Just put it in the savings account to leave there. Just leave it there. All right. We're going to pay the minimum payment on the truck loan, the minimum payment on the student loan, the motorcycle, the car loan. We're going to pay the minimum payment on the Discover card. We're going to get another some more income, and we're going to pay all the rest of the bills right out of this $3,382.27. We're going to pay all the rest of the bills. And not only that, folks, that's where their fund money is too. They have some money built into their budget just to create memories in the family and to have a little fun along the way. You see, this isn't about live like a pauper. This isn't about killing your self just to pay bills every month and to get out of debt. No, because you don't need to throw all of your money at the debt, only the optimum amount on the optimum day. So on this month, in July, we're going to put money on debt. We're going to start saving up. And then in August, we're going to attack that Discover card again with another $1,385.96. Okay, listen, if you want to know more about how to do this, go to ice10k.com. All right. Okay. No, listen, we simplified it. CEODon.com. Let me put that in the chat. All right. Let me put it in the chat. CEODon.com. Okay. Let me see here. CEODon.com. There we go. There it is. And we're going to put it online too. Okay. CEODon.com or ice10k.com, which is going across the screen. And we're going to change that. CEO. And there it is. Okay. Get a free savings and earnings report. Put all of your debt in there, ceodon.com or ice10k.com. All right. And there's a button there. Click on that button and fill out the information, and you can get a free savings and earnings report so you can know the month, day, and year you could be debt free and how much interest you can save using AI. All right. So now we're going to put another $101,385.96 on the debt. Where did we get it? Out of the savings account. Out of the savings account. That's how much money we're able to save. So, how long does it take you to save up some money? It doesn't matter, because when you put the money in savings, you just hold it there because you don't need it for anything else. Everything else has been included in the program. All of your bills, all of your streaming services, your cell phone, all your insurances for your car, for your house, all your payments are in there. Going out to eat, your groceries, your electricity, your gasoline, everything is in the budget already. And all we're doing is tracking how much you're spending. It doesn't tell you you can't go on vacation. The program doesn't do that. It tells you how much you're spending on vacation. And with the money you have left over, you just put it in the savings account. Pay your bills and then track the bills in here. Okay. And then you can start saving again. Now in September here, we're supposed to pay a little bit more money, put in savings. We're putting money in savings again. In September, we're not putting any extra money on the debt. All we're doing is putting money in savings and paying minimums on the debt this month. Save up the cash, all right? And when you have enough saved, the AI says, take this amount and put it on the debt and no more, all right? Now, I'm going to run through this for you, okay? I'm going to run through this for you, and we're going to reset the account, okay? Going to go in here and reset the account. And this one is John or Rebecca Jones. New one here. We reset that. This is our demo, okay? But you'll get one just like this, okay? And I'm going to take you through it. I'm not going to click on each one. That will take too long, all right? For our broadcast. I can click on the entire month of July and execute everything. And so we're paying bills, we're putting money on savings, and we're putting money on debt, all right? So we're going to select the entire month of July. We're going to click on execute multiples, and it puts it right in here. All of our income, finance charges for everything, money that's going into savings, putting money on the card, and making the minimum payments on all the debt. And we're paying all of the bills here, $3,382.27 in all the bills, and putting money aside just for fun. I mean, just to spend it any way you want. Okay, it's all in there. So when we tell the program this, we're going to execute the entire month. Okay, boom, execute the entire month, and all of July is gone, and we put extra money on Discover card. And I need you to see this. Look in the upper right-hand corner. This is how much interest they've saved already in the first month on this program. Once the actual interest saved matches the potential interest saved, they're out of debt. And they've knocked off $9,951 in interest already. It's the interest that's killing you, okay? Not the debt. So we're going to show you how to get the debt at a discount, okay? So let's take a look at interest remaining, okay? This is how much interest they will pay. The bank wanted $142,725. The bank also wanted, here in interest remaining, another $47,917. So when you add those two together, 142,000 and 47,009. Okay. The bank wanted all of that. But because of AI and the direction on how much to pay, what month to pay it in, what day of the month to pay it on, and which loan to attack, they're going to eliminate the maximum amount of interest that's mathematically possible. If you do it any other way, let's say the debt snowball. And if you did the debt snowball, you're going to pay at least $50,000 more in interest than you need to. I mean, instead of paying $47,000 in interest, you're going to pay at least $97,000 in interest, even though you're going to be out of debt faster than doing just the minimum payments. But who wants to do that? Who wants to pay more interest than you need to just to do something that people have called easy? You know, the debt snowball. It doesn't pay attention to how much interest you're paying. It makes you feel good about paying the smaller amounts of debt. Let me show you why that is not the way to go. Let's go into accounts. Okay. I'm going to change this back to years to pay off because we like seeing that 7.3 years. We're going to go back to accounts and I'm going to take a look at this car loan, which somebody says, you can go ahead. You have enough money. You got $10,000 in the bank. Go ahead and knock that car loan out. Okay. That's only $4,447 and you'll free up $370 worth of payments. And you can put that somewhere else. Okay. So let me show you what is happening with this car loan. Oh, I clicked the wrong button. Okay. We're going to look at the history on the car loan. Look at this. Look how much interest they're going to pay on the car loan this month. Do I need to blow that up a little bit? Let's do that. Okay. Only $15.75. $15.75. So, in other words, if they pay this ahead of time, $345.25, they're only going to save $15.75 in interest. That means if they're only going to pay, say, $15.75, then that means they're going to pay a lot more interest somewhere else. Can I show you the difference between this car loan and paying it off and maybe putting $4,000 somewhere else? Okay, let's minimize this again. All right, so let's take a look at, all right, let's go down to the mortgage. Okay, $15 in interest versus $824 in interest. Look at that. If I prepay 502, I can kill $800 worth of interest on this loan. So why focus on the small debt when the interest cost is so low, when we can take that same money for, if we divide $500 into 4,000, okay? Let's put that on the screen, all right? Uh-oh. I gotta put my calculator here. All right. So we have about $4,400 left on the car, I believe. All right. 4,400. And just rounding things off, let's divide $500 into that. Okay. All right. So we'll divide it by 500. Okay. Uh-oh. I did it wrong. Let's see. This is 4,400. All right, divided by 500 equals 8.8. So if we take that 8.8 and multiply it by the amount of interest. So if you put that amount of money on the mortgage, then you will stand to save about, let's multiply that by $800. times 800, that means you'll save about $7,000 in interest. So why pay off the car and save $15 in interest? Because that's all you're going to save. All right, knock that out. When you can put the same amount of money on the mortgage and save $7,000 in interest. Folks, does it make sense to do that? You see, some people say just keep paying until you pay it off. But there's a point at which it doesn't make sense to prepay on a debt because the amount of interest that you're saving is so small. We have been taught to believe that paying off the debt is the ultimate goal. That's why we've developed the challenge, so that the ultimate debt elimination challenge, so that you can learn this in detail, that the key to getting out of debt is figuring out which one of these things is costing you the most money and attack that. Which one is causing the most pain? We are taught to ignore the amount of interest that we're paying on the loans each month. With the debt elimination challenge, you're going to be able to figure that out for yourself. We're going to show you how to figure out how much interest you're paying and how to eliminate the interest that you're paying during the challenge. We're going to show you where all of this stuff came from. We're going to show you why it is important to understand your interest consumption for the month. How much interest are you paying on all of your debt each and every month? It's important to know that, because once you know that, you are now beginning to understand why it is important to figure out what is the right amount of money to pay at the right time. All right. So let's get out of here. So this is why it makes this is why, let me get rid of this. Okay. This is why it makes so much sense. Okay. It makes so much sense to focus on how to eliminate interest. So we're going to go back to the action plan here. We're going to go back to the action plan. Okay. Now we've already done the month of July. Now we're in the month of August. Okay. We're going to take care of the entire month of August. All right. With one button here, select all, execute multiples again. All right. And we're going to take care of the whole month of August, pay bills, pay everything off, and put money on the debt. And in 2 months, we're down to 7.2 years. Okay. 7.2 years. And in 2 months, we've already saved $11,423 in interest in just 2 months. Okay. And now we're in the month of December. Okay. We're in the month of December now. And I'm sorry, the month of September. We're in the month of September now. And then as you go through September, then all you're doing is following up till, well, today is only September 3. So we can't go very far into September, okay? Because the program won't let you go further than the date that you're on now. So I can't eliminate all of September right now, okay? But as we can see 3 months at a time, I can look into the future by 3 months. So we got September, where we're just putting away money and paying the minimum payments on the debt, okay? And we look at October, where we're putting away more money in savings. We're putting away more money in savings and just paying the minimum payments on the debt. And then when we get into November, all right, we're still saving up money. So those programs that tell you to throw all of your money on the debt every single month, they don't understand how you need to build up cash, and just in case something happens. And so out of the cash that you build up, the program says only put a small amount of that cash on the debt. Let's take a look at what John and Rebecca Jones, how they're telling the program, I want to keep a certain amount of money in savings at all times. That's their emergency fund. So we're going to go into settings here. We're going to reset the account. Okay. And Opal, if you want to come to the stage, all right, just raise your hand and I'll bring you up and you can ask questions. Okay. I love it when I get questions. So if you get a question and you want to come up, raise your hand. We'll bring you up. Okay. I'll invite you up just in case. All right. If you want to come up, you can. All right. There you go. And let's see here. So we're going to take a look at September, October, and November, but it doesn't tell us when we're going to be able to put money on the debt again. But if we look in the upper left-hand corner, look here. Look here. In December, the program has predicted that they'll have enough money in savings, not out of their regular budget, but after they've paid all their bills, they'll have enough money in savings that they'll be able to put $7,300 on debt in December and still have money to buy Christmas presents. Let me show you something here. Let me show you something here. We're going to go into preferences. Look at this thing. Okay. They have told the program, I want to keep $7,500 in savings at all times. Now, this is crazy. In December, they'll still have $7,500 in savings. And watch this, still put $7,300 on debt, which means by the time December rolls around, they'll have over $14,800 in savings, even after they've paid all of their bills, even after they have exhausted their lifestyle money. I mean, they put lifestyle money, I mean, just to have some fun every single month. Live well while you're doing this and have $14,000 in the bank and be able to put $7,000 on debt and eliminate all kinds of interest while you're living well. And instead of taking 30 years to get out of debt, they'll be out of debt doing this system in 7.2 years. Do you want to take the ultimate debt elimination challenge? Listen, we're going to be announcing that soon. Do you want to start right away and learning how you can eliminate debt? We have put together a mini version of the ultimate debt elimination challenge, and you can access that 90-minute challenge by going to ceodon.com, and clicking on getting a savings and earnings report. Fill that out. Somebody from my staff will give you a call. Okay. Now, let's go over, I'm just going to go over a few basics of why. Okay. How is it that this kind of debt can be eliminated so quickly? I'm going to pull up our amortization schedule, Brett Whistle, and just go over some of the basics here. Okay. So I'm going to put in a $300,000 mortgage. Interest rates are about 6.5 now. Okay. They're coming down. Okay. But I don't care. I don't care about interest rate. All I care about is interest cost and what to do about it. We stop at payment and interest rate. But what we don't stop, what we need to find out is, how do I position myself with the right interest rate because of my income? How do I position myself so that my money can kill the maximum amount of interest that is available to me. Okay, so we're going to put in 6.5, and here is the amount of your payment, $1,896.20. So when we scroll down here, okay, when we scroll down, look here, look at the summary. 300,000. The bank wants them to pay total interest paid $382,000. Do you want to pay $382,000 interest on a $300,000 loan, which means you have to pay back $682,000? So, in essence, your house costs $682,000 in a $300,000 neighborhood. Is that what you want to do? That's what we have been doing since 1936. And actually since 1934, but this kind of loan got really popular in 1936. Okay, so ever since then, we have been doing this, and we're going to get into the depths of the history of this in the ultimate debt elimination challenge. You'll be with us for 5 whole days. If you come in with the regular ticket, it's going to be you'll spend an hour with us. You'll get extra time and be able to ask questions at the VIP level. It's going to be phenomenal. The first time anything like this in history has ever been done. And we're going to be announcing it here soon and putting information out on all of our social media about the ultimate debt elimination challenge. Now, watch this. $682,000 in interest. So it's not 6.5. I need you to see this. Total interest paid as a percentage of principal. Here it is. 127%. 120% interest. No, 127.544%. Over 127.5%. That is a crazy number. But all we're looking at is the 6.5. We're not really looking at the fact that this thing is costing us 127%. But we don't realize it. We're not looking at the total amount of interest that we have to pay. All we're looking at is short term. Folks, we need to look down the road. Short term, what is my payment? What is my interest rate? Can I make the payment? Can I live in the house that I want to live in and make the payment? But I'm not looking at how much interest I'm even paying in 1 month or even the first year. So I have a payment I can afford. Let's see what this does every single month. I have a payment that I can afford, but because of how this thing is structured, out of my, let's take a look at it again, out of my $1,896.20, look at this. Only $271.20 goes to pay down the loan the first month, while $1,600 goes to interest. I need you guys to look at that for a minute. That is a crazy amount of money, and it's legal. And we lose sight of that every single month. We lose sight of that. How much interest we're actually paying each month. Uh-oh, I don't want to do that. Okay. I'm messing up my screen. There we go. And that's the one I wanted. So let me go here. I need to hire an engineer. You know one? Okay. All right. So let me remove this and go back to my, there we go. And there it is. Okay. So listen, folks, I want to stop here for just a second. And I want to look straight into the camera here. This year, we're dedicated in season 5 to make sure everyone who wants to know, you deserve to know how this thing is working. And we're the only ones on the internet anywhere telling you how all of this works and how you can eliminate all of this debt by killing the maximum amount of interest possible. Optimized interest cancellation is the way to go. That's what I want to share with you. I want you to know that this is why we took the summer off. I'm actually going to be in a meeting with my staff today so that we can put the final touches on the ultimate debt elimination challenge. And when we do, Opal says, how much does this program cost? I don't know. Opal, it's different cost for everybody, because once you do the get your savings and earnings report done, then we're going to know what pieces and parts of our program you're going to need. And when we put it all together for you, then we'll be able to tell you what the program costs. But I can tell you this: we generally don't recommend the program unless you can get 10 times your savings over the cost of the program. Okay. So whatever the program costs, you're going to get a 10x return on the interest you save. So ultimately, it's going to be the banks that pay us out of the interest that you're no longer paying them. But if you want to know, we can tell you. We just need to know what parts of our program you're going to need. You see, if I have a student if I've got somebody who just graduated from college and they only have $50,000 in student loans, they're not going to pay the same amount as somebody who has a $700,000 mortgage with car loans, student loans, and credit cards. Okay, they're going to pay more for the program than the person with just $50,000 in student loans. So we need to know what we're going to do for you. But I tell you what, you're going to know right up front, and getting the education is going to be paramount. Once you get the education, once we take you through the entire system, you will know what your investment is going to be to get a fantastic return. Okay? Promise you that. Thank you for asking the question, though. Let me see. All right. So, let's see here. Let's go back. Let me put this back on. Let me go back to sharing my screen again. All right. And add to the stage here. There we go. I want to go back to this. I want to show you in the first year on this mortgage, adding up this column is cumulative principal. Hi, Angelia. Okay. Hi, Angelia. If you want to see what we're doing, you want to pull up your computer or your iPad or whatever, your tablet or another phone, and go to YouTube, search for P.I.L.L method, and you'll be able to see our screen. Okay. So thank you for being here. And ask a question anytime you want. And if you want to come to the stage, please do. If you want to talk to me about this, we love questions here. All right. So if you add up all the principal payments, that's all these $270 and $280 payments for the year, it comes to $3,353.12. And out of this first year, adding up all the interest payments, it comes to $19,401. let me put it to you this way. We're going to bring our calculator back up on the screen. Okay. Our payment is $1,896.20. And we're going to multiply that by 12. That's how much they're paying in the first year. Okay. $22,754.04 on a mortgage payment they can afford. $22,754.40. But out of that $22,754, only $3,353.12 counts to pay down the debt. The rest, the bank gets to keep. And we're in the debt elimination challenge, we're going to get into why the disparity, why 19,000 of your dollars, $19,400 that you've paid out, why do they get to keep that? And only $3,353 goes to pay down your mortgage. We're going to show you not only why that happens, we're going to show you how to turn that completely around. I'm going to give you a little bit right now, though. Okay. I'll give you a little bit right now. So if you're looking at this, let's just say you're making your first payment here in January. Okay. There it is. First payment in January, $271.20 goes to principal. You're paid down to $299,728.80 on your principal, while $1,600 of your dollars goes up in smoke. Okay. The bank gets to keep that. The investors get to keep your money. All right. Because that's what they do. That's the whole purpose of this. You get to borrow the money and they get to discount your payment every single month. All right. And so let's see how we can turn this around. You made your January payment. You're all done for January. February's principal payment is $272.67. So for all of you that are listening online, okay, I see some that are in here on, you may be watching me on YouTube. You may be watching me on Facebook. All right. So let's go to the comment. I'm going to pull up the comment section. $272.67. That's how much principal we're supposed to pay in February if we start this in January. Do I have to wait till February? Put it in the chat. Put it in the comment section. Do I have to wait till February to give the bank $272.67? That's a yes or a no. If I have it, do I have to wait till February to give the bank that $272.67 I see here online too? Do I have to wait? Karan, how are you doing? What are you doing in the audience? Okay, I see you. All right, come on up. All right, so do I have to wait, folks? Put it in the chat, yes or no. Okay, Opal says no, you don't have to wait. Come on, Opal, I love it. You do not have to wait, all right? If you have it, you can pay it in January as well. So there she is. How are you doing, Karan?
It is always a great day. How are you, Mr. Don Daniels?
Listen, we've been off the entire summer, and this is our first day back with season 5 of the P.I.L.L Method Live.
Oh, that is amazing. I'm so happy to be here.
Listen, this season, we're going to be focusing totally on AI and how AI has entered into finance to help us.
All right. I'm all ears. I've got my pen, my pencil. I'm ready, master.
Listen, you can pop in and ask a question anytime you want. I see Kenny's in here now. Kenny, you can do the same. Come on up. Okay. Come on. I'm going to make you a moderator right quick. All right. And if you see anybody who wants to come up, please do bring them up. Kenny, how are you doing, sir? So, folks, Opal, I want to answer your question now. $272.67. We don't have to wait, but if we paid it in January, okay, that immediately goes to principal, and we're paid down to line 2 in January. And if we're paid down to line 2 in January, our next mortgage payment for February is on line 3 of this schedule, where 274.15 goes to principal and 1,622.05 goes to interest. But what happened to the $1,623.53 in interest on line 2? Does anybody know? Put it in the chat, okay? Or come off mute and tell me. All right. So what happens to that?
I think the interest got eliminated.
It got eliminated. Oh, so Karan, listen, if you want to watch us on YouTube, you can too. Do you have a like your computer up or whatever? But listen, this is going to be good. Thank you for saying that. So all $1,623.53 just got eliminated. Okay. So in our example, John and Rebecca Jones, they're going to be putting about $3,000 on their debt. Okay. What if they could do this? Let's take a look at cumulative principal for the entire year, $3,353.12. Okay. That adds up all the principal payments for 1 year. All the principal payments for a year. Okay. Oh, and before I go away, before I forget, we're going to be back here next Wednesday too in the P.I.L.L Method Club. So start spreading the word. We're going to be live from now on. Okay. We're going to be live every single week at this time, starting at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central Time. And it's going to be, okay, Kenny. All right. There we go. Kenny, how you doing? I can't hear you. You may have to go out again and come back, because I'm not hearing you. Is it me? Karan, can say something.
No, I'm not. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
All right. All right. Kenny, go out and come back in so we can get you, so we can hear you. Okay. Nope. All right. He's gonna try it again. All right, folks. So there it is.
Hear me now?
Yes,
Good
sir.
morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. What's going on with you?
Nothing much. I'm at work right now, just taking care of my assignments for the day.
Okay.
Just saw the room open up. Just wanted to come in and see what you're teaching today.
Listen, this season we're going to be focusing on AI. Okay.
Yeah.
And how
That's valuable.
powerful it is in helping us to eliminate interest.
Okay, good stuff.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
Listen, man, good to see you again.
Thank you.
All right. So here we are, folks. So if we know we're going to be paying $3,353.12, okay, and all people who are new watching us on listening to us on Clubhouse, you can go to this link at the top, or go to YouTube, and you can see what we're talking about. Pull up your other phone, your computer, or your tablet. Go to YouTube and search for P.I.L.L Method, and you can see what we're putting on the screen. All right. So for 1 year, $3,353.12 in principal. So here's my question. All right. I'm going to ask it another question here. Do we have to pay the $3,353.12 in 12 monthly installments? Okay. 12 monthly installments. Do we have to do that? Hey, Chris, how you doing? Okay. Do we have to do it that way? What do you think? Do we have to pay the $3,353.12 in 12 monthly installments? But if we had it, could we?
No.
Thank you. Opal says no. Karan says no. If we had it, we can put it all on the debt all at one time. Okay. And let's prove it. Let's prove what would happen. Okay. I'm going to put my calculator on the screen. We have $300,000. And if we had it, we could take some money out of the bank and put $3,353.12 on the mortgage right away. All right. So we're going to subtract $3,353.12 equals 296,646.88. It's right here. Oh, let me put it side by side. Look at that. You will be paid down to there in just 1 month. So if you're paid down to there all in 1 month, what happens to all these interest payments between line 2 and line 12, Opal? What happens to them? Are they eliminated? You mean I can give the bank the same amount of money I was going to give them in the first place and only pay $1,600 in interest instead of $19,000 in interest, and I could be paid down to here in 1 month. Why are we doing this any other way? Because we have not been taught. We have not been taught that by eliminating interest, we can kill debt so much more efficiently. And when you have a system, an AI system, the opportunity cost calculator that does all of the math and tells you put this much money on and no more, it makes a big difference. Okay, so I'm going to show you why it makes a difference. So let's say you have plenty of money in the bank. You got plenty of money in the bank, and I'm going to give you a choice. You can prepay line 12 and eliminate 1 year. That's $3,353.12. Or you can prepay. Opal says that's unbelievable. Okay. You can prepay $6,930.80. Okay. That's 2 years worth of payments. 2 years worth of payments. Okay. $6,930.80. And you could do that and eliminate over $36,000 in interest you don't have to pay. That is a lot of money. Okay, just for $6,900, we're going to show you how to save that money up without harming your budget that you already have, and they can knock off 2 years. But here's the question: should they? Should they put more money on if they have it? Or should they measure how much interest they can save per dollar and pay the right amount that way? Let's take a look here. I'm bringing that calculator back up. Okay. So if we are saving $19,000, we're going to put it in 19,401.28. Okay, where did I get that? I got it from right here. This is how much interest the bank wants us to pay. But by paying the 33.53.12 up front, we don't have to pay them all of that money. How about that? Okay, so if we divide it by the 353.12, that will tell us how much money we're saving per dollar. So let's divide it by the $3,353.12 equals 5.786, or $5.79 worth of interest per dollar. So for every extra dollar you put on this loan, you save $5.79 in interest you never have to pay the bank. Listen, folks, does that make your dollar seem more valuable to you now? No, who would take an extra dollar and put it on a mortgage and nothing really, just you reduce your principal by $1. But if you knew that that $1 could save you almost $6 in interest, that's a whole different story, isn't it? So if you gave me $1 and I gave you back $7.79. How many times would you give me $1? Okay, everybody? How many times would you give me $1 if I gave you back $5.79? the bank has to do the exact same thing. When you pay extra, a calculation goes on that can tell you how much interest you are saving. So I'm going to write that down. Okay. Let's write that down. $5.70. I got to get my pen here. Okay. There it is. $5.79. Now, let's take a look at line 24. Line 24 says if we can, let's bring our calculator down here to line 24. All right. If we pay $6,900, okay, we can save 2 years off the mortgage. So let's put in 38,000. That's the interest you won't have to pay. I know it's unbelievable, Opal, but it's true. 38,578. Okay. And it's even 38,578. And we're going to divide it by the $6,900. Okay. Divided by $6,930.80 equals $5.57. So before we were saving $5.79 per dollar, but now we're only saving $5.57. So folks, let me ask you, if you can save $5.79 per dollar that you put on the mortgage, why would you ever accept $5.57 per dollar? You see, there's a point at which paying more hurts you. Now, why does that matter? You want to save the ultimate amount of money in interest that you can when paying off your debt. Any extra money should go into wealth creation. Put it into whatever vehicle you're using to grow your money. Does that make sense, everybody? Listen, I need more people on the stage asking me questions. Come on up, ask your questions now, because we came in late, but I'm going to be leaving here in just a few minutes. We've been on air for 1 hour and 17 minutes so far. We're only going to go about an hour and a half in this first show, but I need you to understand this. We are still putting together our 5-day the ultimate debt elimination challenge. We're putting together all the graphics. We're putting together everything and then you're going to be with me for 5 whole days online. All right. And if you get the VIP ticket, you're going to get some personal time with me to ask some very deep questions, how we're going to go through the history and through how the whole system was set up to work against us, and what's really going on behind the scenes, and why it takes AI to figure this thing out so that we will not pay the bank anymore. We don't want to pay them one more dime than they need to receive. How to borrow money at a severe discount instead of having them discount us. Okay, that's where we're going with this debt elimination challenge. And if you want to know more now, okay, we have already set up a mini challenge, 90 minutes. And we can take you through the mini challenge. And all you have to do to get into the mini challenge is go to either ice10k.com or ceodon.com and click on the button. All right. I'm putting on the screen right now. Okay. So if we go to ceodon.com, this is what comes up. Okay. It's my digital business card. You scroll down. All right, underneath ET's picture, and click on get your savings and earnings report. It's free. You can know the month, day, and year. You can be debt free. the month, day, and year you could be debt free and how much interest you could save. All right. And if you want to know what your investment is going to be, I guarantee you it's going to be pennies compared to how much interest the bank is killing you with. Okay. We're going to cut your interest cost by 75%. Most of my clients save anywhere from $150,000 to $200,000 in interest they never have to pay the bank. That is a lot of money. Okay. So let's get back to this. So what we're looking at is I need you to understand this. Just throwing a lot of money at the debt is not the right thing to do. Because if you do that, you're going to miss opportunities to make money. Folks, does that make sense to you? Put it in the chat. If you're watching us online, if you're watching us on YouTube, put something in the chat. Tell me where you're from. Tell me where you're watching from. All right. Put it right in the comment section. And if you're here listening to us on Clubhouse, put it in the chat where you're from. All right. And ask your question. And I appreciate you saying that was unbelievable, Opal. I think you've been here the entire time. Okay. You've been here the entire time. All righty. So folks, we're getting ready to wrap up. Okay. We're getting ready to wrap up here. All right. But I want to be able to share, just a little bit with you about some of the folks that have done well on the program. Come around. Do you have something?
I do have a question for you.
Go right ahead.
With respect to the challenge,
Mhm.
is it more so that we are going to be doing debt elimination in real time? And is there a certain amount of debt that we're looking to eliminate? Or, I don't know the parameters of the challenge.
We're going to be doing
Um,
stuff in real time. Okay. You're going to learn how to do your own amortization schedule. You're going to be learning what the bank is doing to you. Listen, you're going to go through this whole thing yourself. And listen, there's going to be some work to do.
mhm.
Okay.
I'm just wondering also,
Yes.
let's say that you have a situation where you have, and I know your method teaches us how to eliminate the interest, but let's say you're in a situation where the mortgage is a little backed up. Can we use this to kind of straighten it out in record time?
You mean backed up? You mean if you're behind on your mortgage?
Behind, yes.
No, you have to be current.
You need to be, okay.
Yeah. So our program, to believe it or not, most people are current on their mortgage. Very few people are really in trouble financially.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you're in trouble financially, there are other programs that can help you. But this program is for folks who can at least pay the minimum payments on all of their debt. If they're behind on their mortgage, then they can still talk to us and go through a consultation
Mm-hmm.
and see how you can get everything caught up. All right. We'll take a look at your situation and see what's going on. And if there's something that can be easily fixed, we'll tell you about it. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
All righty. All righty. Any other questions? Okay. So listen, I'm meeting with my team today. We're going to be talking about the debt elimination challenge and that's coming up. But I need you to watch, something here. Okay. That has to do with why AI is so powerful. AI is so powerful because there are a lot of variables that we have to consider. And the more variables that you consider, the more difficult it is to figure out how to eliminate that debt. So I'm going to bring something else up on the screen here. All right. And let me see here. I need 10 variables. Okay. All right. I need you to take a look at this. All right. This is something we're going to go over in depth during the challenge. Okay. Whether you're doing the 90-minute challenge, the mini challenge, or the 5-day immersive challenge, where you're going to get college level instruction on how loans actually work and what you can do about it. Okay. All right. So here's one. Just tell me if you think this is true or not. Here's one of the things that you have to consider. Understanding when and how you receive your income is crucial for timing your payments correctly to align with your cash flow. Does that make sense? Okay, that's just one thing. Okay. Here's a second thing you would have to think about. The amount of money you earn dictates how much you can realistically divert towards debt repayment without compromising your financial stability. So, how much money can you put on to keep your finances stable? Who's going to do that math? All right? Here's a third one. Each loan's specific terms, including interest rates, balance due, affect how beneficial extra payments can be. I did that earlier in the show by pulling up a car payment versus a mortgage payment, saving $15 in interest versus saving $800 in interest. So if we have to take a look at all that, we need to figure out which loan to attack, right? To save the maximum amount of interest. Here's number 4, discretionary funds. The amount of money left after essential expenses varies from month to month. Your electricity bill changes. Your how much money you spend on food changes from month to month. The if you go to the movies, all right, if you order movies, if you're ordering out, that will change how much money you have left over at the end of the month. So if it's changing all the time, do you have to change your approach to attacking debt differently every single month? Yes, you do. We have identified at least 10 variables that you have to pay attention to, ladies and gentlemen, at least 10. But I want to show you something here. All right. I want to show you something on, let me see. Let me bring this back up. Okay. We're going to put in, if there's just 5 variables, 5 exclamation point, that means 5 factorial. Okay. 5 factorial means that there's 120 different ways to do something. And how do you get to 120? It's 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. If you do that, 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 comes to 120. That's 120 different ways to look at something. And in math, they call it permutations. How many permutations can I get out of if I have 5 things to do? What order should I do them in? Okay. There's only one way to look at this out of 120 ways that is optimum, or that's going to get you the most benefit. All right. It's going to get you the most benefit. So if that's true, then 119 of them lose you money. Okay. So who's going to do the math? Who's going to try to figure out what to do out of 120 different ways? What are we going to do this month to save us the most money? But we've identified 10 factorial. 10. That's 3,628,800 different ways to look at something. That is 3,628,000 permutations, and only one of them is optimum. I want to give you an idea of what it means to work out how to approach 3,628 different ways to look at something. 3,628,800 different ways to look at something and what that means for you. I want you to watch this short video, and then we're going to get out of here today. I want you to watch this video or at least listen to it. And if you want to see it, go to YouTube or Facebook, look up P.I.L.L Method and find us there. Here it is.
Mathematicians sometimes pose seemingly pointless questions. A question like this, for instance: there are 10 different books on a shelf. If it took an individual an average of 3 minutes to rearrange these books, how long would it take them to create every possible arrangement? There is a point to this question. The answer reveals something about the complexity of a simple process. Here's how you solve this. Let's start by posing this same question but with fewer books. Here we have 3 books. The first thing we need to determine is how many possible different arrangements there are. It should be a simple task to actually complete all possible arrangements and count them. We assume the books sit on the shelf in a normal vertical position. This is a first possible arrangement. This is a second arrangement, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. 6 possible ways to arrange the books. If you inspect the arrangements, you will see there are no other ways to arrange these books. To analyze this process, we will use some math. Here's how a mathematician would approach this. We have 3 books to put on a shelf. We have 3 choices for the first book, and once we have made that choice, we have 2 choices left for the next book. Once we've made that choice, we have only 1 choice left for the last book. The mathematician multiplies these 3 options together. 3 times 2 times 1 gives us 6 possible arrangements. This number agrees with our original investigation. Mathematicians have a special notation for this technique. 3 times 2 times 1 is called 3 factorial. The notation looks like this. The exclamation mark tells us we are multiplying 3 times 2 times 1. The integers decrease by 1. This technique is powerful. Let's suppose we needed to calculate how many ways we could organize 4 different books on a shelf. The answer is 4 factorial. 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. A total of 24 possible arrangements. No need to actually create each arrangement. Let's go back to our 3 books. We know there are 6 possible arrangements. How long would it take someone to complete all 6 of these arrangements? If it takes them 1 minute to make and check each arrangement, 6 times 1 minute is 6 minutes. It probably wouldn't take that long, but using 1 minute keeps the arithmetic simple. Now let's apply this to a slightly larger book arrangement, 10 books. How long would it take someone to arrange these 10 different books in every possible way? We have more books, so let's allow 3 minutes to complete each arrangement. How long do you think it would take them to complete this task? The answer is surprising. Let's calculate. We have 10 different books, so 10 factorial will give us the number of possible arrangements. 10 times 9 times 8 and so on. Multiplying, we get an astounding 3,628,800 possible arrangements. How long would it take to set all of these up? We've allowed 3 minutes for each arrangement. 3 minutes times 3,628,800 gives us 10,886,400 minutes. To change the time to hours, let's divide this by 60. Completing that division, we get 181,440 hours. If the person doing these arrangements decided to spend 30 hours a week at this task, how many weeks would it take them to complete it? Dividing 181,440 hours by 30, the number of work hours per week, we get 6,048 weeks. Now let's change this to years. There are 52 weeks in a year. Dividing 6,048 weeks by 52, we find this task would take an incredible 116 years to complete, more than a century. Who would have thought that it could take over 100 years to complete such a simple task? Obviously, calculating how many ways to arrange a bookshelf is not particularly important, but mathematical techniques like this play important roles in sophisticated tasks. Tasks like analyzing the base pair configurations of DNA. The powerful tools and techniques of mathematics continue to reveal more about the processes that drive all aspects of our universe. For more science-related videos and projects, visit our website, HELOCs.com.
There we have it, folks. Listen, let me take this off and bring me back. All right, there you are. All right, so listen, you saw that. This is why it is so important for us to dig down deep. We've been told that managing debt is very simple. All you have to do is pay more. All you have to do is, that's what we've been told. All you have to do. It is very difficult when you have to manage and figure out, how do we process 10 variables when it comes to the debt structure that we have individually, and somebody in Nashville, Tennessee wants to tell us everybody can approach their debt the exact same way. Mr. Ramsey, not everybody can go about their debt the exact same way. You can't give the same advice to everybody. It doesn't work that way. It is very, very complex. And it is more complex than a human being can do. Because if you're not careful, you're going to pay 75 to 80% more interest than you need to on managing debt. And that's what keeps us in debt forever. This is the purpose of the challenge, so that you can learn this and learn exactly what's going on, and the very things that we should have been learning in school the whole time. How in the world are we expected to use credit cards, student loans, car loans, mortgages, any type of loan there is, and we have not been taught the first thing about loan mechanics, the mechanisms that make this thing run? All we have been looking at is interest rate and payment, but we have no idea how amortization, how all of that affects how interest is calculated, and what we can do to eliminate massive amounts of interest. I'm talking about the optimum amount of interest that you as an individual can eliminate based on what debt you have, the structure of your debt, and how much money you make. This is how unique your situation is, and you need a unique structure. You need unique solutions to overcome all of that. All right, folks, I want to thank you for being here with me for our very first show of the season. All right, and let me let me bring up our graphic again. Let's see, where did it go? All right, there it is. All right, AI eliminates debt. This is the season 5 premiere. I want to thank you for being here with me today. And next week, we're going to be back with another show where we're going to get down deep about what is really going on behind the scenes and how people are being hurt by this situation and they don't even realize it. Okay, let me tell you something. 9 out of 10 people will never pay off a debt. We pay 35 to 39% of our take-home pay on interest alone. And even those of us who make a lot of money are being hurt by the amount of interest that we're paying. So, Don, how are people who are seemingly doing well financially, how are they being hurt? because they're paying way more interest than they need to, which means that takes money out of that steals money from their legacy, which they could be employing to build generational wealth for their families. So this thing hurts everybody on all social economic levels because it has not been taught to anybody. This is not being taught at any level of financial education anywhere. So come back next week, and we will get into this. We'll get into this more. But in the meantime, don't forget to like and share these videos. Don't forget to subscribe to YouTube. All right, our YouTube channel. We will get to 10,000 followers soon. So subscribe. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're out for today. Let's get our theme music ready here to go. I'm going to see you next week.